Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Flash and Dash podcast. We are back. Don't worry about it. We only took a short break. You know, people got personal things to do. Don't worry about it. This man over here messing up his camera. See us?
Yeah, my bad. I'm getting back in the
rust off. He's knocking the rust off. Don't even worry about that. Don't even worry about that.
We good.
What's good? How you feeling? And how you feeling? My man Dash over there, my partner in crime. How is everything?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. I'm really excited about, what's coming up in this gaming kind of atmosphere. We got a lot of games coming out, a lot of games that are literally about to release, some trials that have just released that we'll talk about here soon. Some of them good, some of them bad, and I'm really just excited to get cracking and talk and have a discussion.
Hey, that's what's up. And of course, with us as always is the best producer in the business, Dre Wingate. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Ooh, feeling pretty good. How are y'all?
Man, you already know. We out here.
Good.
It's good times out here. It's a good time to be alive. Every day you wake up, baby, we out here. So, have you been playing anything of note lately?
No, I've actually been doing, I had a wedding I had to go to. COVID it up with the social distancing and stuff, but we made it happen as safely as possible, of course. But I'm trying to think of any games that I've played. Like, I've been playing Call of Duty.
I saw you played this Fall Guys. Now before I ask you about that, did you purchase that on PC? I'm assuming, correct?
So actually, yes, it's actually purchased on the PC.
Okay.
Steam.
Full disclosure, neither of us have a PS4, so.
Yeah, full disclosure. That won't be happening anytime soon. But I did download it. It doesn't take anything to run at all. So yeah, I would definitely talk about my experience with Fall Guys.
Please do.
Because it's such a niche title. Like, so many people want the gore, they want the everything. They want the guns, they want the glory. But this has the glory. It just has a lot more colors and a lot less guns. But it has the competitive nature. Like, you want to get a crown, you want to get a dub, and it's actually not easy. It's
a lot of platforming elements.
It's easier to get a dub in Call of Duty than it is Fall Guys.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And it is wild. I promise you. So if you haven't played it, literally you can play with anybody, your significant other, kids, like literally. If they haven't even played a video games aren't even really their thing. Fall Guys is something that can literally get anyone and everyone to pick up a controller
to
get on the mouse and keyboard and play.
That's dope. I like that.
Have a PC, $20 on Steam, $30 if you want some extra little customizable stuff. But
that's dope. That's dope.
$20 or your PS4 if you have one of those things.
Oh yeah, I guess some people do. All five of you.
But I definitely, that's definitely one of the most fun games I've played. Especially, surprisingly too, the Yard on Madden. I played a little bit of that. But
that's good, but we'll get to that later. So I'm glad you brought that up. But what have I been playing? You asked. I'm glad.
Yeah,
I've been.
What you been on, bro?
I haven't been. What have I been on? Madden, unfortunately, but like I said, we'll get to that. And I played Battletoads because that, at the time of this recording, that had just come out, I think, a couple of days ago, released on Game Pass. Game Pass, the best deal in gaming, period. Probably in gaming history. But Battletoads is great. If you have been alive long enough to have played any of the old Battletoads games, most notably the Super Nintendo Battle Maniacs Battletoads game, this game is fabulous. It's hard. It's got the humor that you want out of the Battletoads game. The graphics are clean, very colorful, very crisp. The combat system is dope. It really relies on stringing together combos and launching people up in the air and continuing the combo, and then you can switch out battle. Like, if you're playing solo Now, unfortunately, it only has 3-player local co-op, not over Xbox Live, which sucks. But at the same time, it's cool if you have somebody at home that you play with, maybe one of your kids or a brother or sister or girlfriend or a boyfriend, significant other, whatever the case may be, if they're decent at video games. What's cool is that, if 3 people are playing, obviously everybody's controlling one Battletoad. But if 1 or 2 people playing, you can on the fly switch to one of the other Battletoads with
so kind of like what's that? Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah. So you can just right on the fly, like hit the left directional button or down or right and switch to the one of the other Battletoads. And you can actually incorporate that into like combos. So you can be like, hitting buttons, launching them up, drop in the other Battletoad, and he'll just continue the combo. It's very dope. It also helps when one person dies. Like if 2 people are playing, one person dies, you can tag in the other Battletoad and revive that person. They'll sub out, and then keep the health going that way. It's very dope. But again, long. Me and my son played through the first act. There's 4 acts, and the first act had like 7 scenes in the first act. It took like a solid 2 hours, if I had to guess, if I had to remember, and that's long, and which is cool. And a lot of it obviously was us dying a lot, especially on that turbo bike level. And if anybody remembers the old games, get on them bikes, man, forget it. But it was fun because I got in the zone, or as it's psychologically called, flow. So I got in the flow, and it's just like I was like, man,
and it just clicked.
It's crazy because it's actually harder with multiple people on the screen. And then my son quickly figured that out. So every time he would die, he started to figure out, okay, I'm just gonna stay dead and not tag in the other person because it's easier with one person on the screen. He's very intuitive. He's great. He's gonna be a gamer, and I'm just gonna help him lean into that.
Lean all the way.
I'm gonna help him lean all the way into that because at 6 he's got an affinity for gaming that's way ahead where I was when I was 6. Granted, games were much simpler when I was 6. They only had 2 buttons. So so yes, that's what I've been playing. But we're gonna roll right into what's in the news. First thing up, fresh out the gate, like I said, at the time of this recording, this is hot off the presses. Gotham Knights has been revealed at DC Fandom, and not just revealed, no CG cutscene. We got in-engine gameplay. Bro, this game right here. So if anybody that hasn't watched it, Bruce Wayne, Batman's dead. And the Gotham Knights take over to, pick up the slack. This is, Batwoman. This is Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood.
Everybody, the crew.
Bro, this gameplay is off the chain. And it's dope because between all 4 of them, you're getting completely different gameplay. You got Red Hood with the guns. You got Nightwing with the 2 batons, doing all kind of crazy flips and everything. You got Robin with the staff. You got Batwoman. She's very agile, doing a lot of stuff with the grappling hook. Bro, I am I watched this trailer. I got goosebumps. I was just
where did this come from?
This is the game that they've been working on. Like this and the other Rocksteady had the Suicide Squad game, which is that 4-player co-op style type joint. This is the mainstream Batman game that everybody's waiting for, just without Batman. I mean, it's not like we haven't played a couple of these other characters during that Batman trilogy.
Correct.
We're not talking about Batman Origins because that's not part of the trilogy. It's Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. Is it Arkham Knight?
I think so.
Get the name of the third one. I think it's Arkham Knight.
Best producer in the business. Get on it.
I'm pretty sure it's Arkham Knight.
Please.
But you got to play it, you played with a little bit of Robin. I think there was some Nightwing in there.
One of the games you played as Catwoman a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah. Correct. I think it was Arkham City. So
you've got Arkham. The 4 that you have are Origins, Asylum, City, and Night.
It was Night.
Okay. Yeah. So you got some gameplay from those characters. Now it's just they just take out Batman and it's like, okay, here's Red Hood, Batwoman, just lean into this. And I'm like, this is fucking
And it's characters that everybody kind of truly enjoys. Nobody doesn't like.
This is not
these
like
characters.
C B character type shit. This is
No.
like after you think of Batman, these are the characters that you think about in that universe, in that Gotham universe. As far as the heroes go, it's the Robin. It's the three Robins at one point, right? Because of the Robin.
Correct.
These three Robins at one point. So it's like that's the Robins that you really know. And the Oracle, like that one, like these are the characters that's like, okay, they have been, not only have they been in these games, but they've been there in the comics. Like these are the characters that you know in this universe, and these are the characters that you're like, who would you want to play as if you weren't playing as Batman? You would name any of these characters, and they're just like, okay, here's all four of them. like yo,
take them off.
2021. I am so hyped for this, I take my money, $60, whatever. At $70, new console, just take it. I'll buy that day purchase. Offer it. I don't have to think about that. Not even for a second. Like, because this is what DC does. They give you great games, they give you great TV shows, great comics, great animated movies, and they're starting to give you great live action movies.
Well, we see what happens when their budget isn't limited. This Snyder cut is about to be something serious.
4 hours.
4 hours.
And this is fresh off the heels of a damn good Joker movie and a damn good ass Birds of Prey Harley Quinn movie.
So you know they're not looking to release something like this unless it's gonna actually hit.
Correct. So I'm super excited for that because I think DC is starting to figure this out. And again, this is, and we just talked about this before getting on the podcast. This is just off the heels of having Marvel burnout. Because we're like, after Endgame, we're like, okay, I'm kind of done for right now. It's been like 25 movies. So like, I'm good for a little bit.
World building process. I was just talking about this with somebody the other day. That the amount of time it took to develop this, and even a lot of it on the fly, just to get to this end point, because they had their end point kinda, but they kind of had to work the inner workings of that, and it literally took. It expanded that amount of time, and
this was great, and it was great. And I'm not taking anything away from what Marvel did with this because it was a masterpiece all the way through, except for a couple movies. Like the third, like the second Thor was kind of trash.
First Captain America, yeah. No, I think I didn't enjoy the first Captain America.
It was good for what it was for developing the character. It was important for that aspect. But nowhere near what they did with Winter Soldier, because Winter Soldier is arguably
one of the best.
So movies. Obviously top 3 out of all of the movies.
Correct.
So they really brought it with that second one. But again, there are a lot of excellent movies along this way. And then I'm not as excited because it's like after Endgame, they're like, okay, we're giving you a Black Widow also. I'm like, I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not like.
And that's what my gripe was. I'm like, why give us that? What are you gonna bring her back? Like, how much significance could something in her past that way have on future Marvel cinema?
And I'm kind of good on Black
unless something ties into it later when she comes back.
Yeah, still I kind of
like life death.
I kind of don't care at this point. And like when some
people like Black Widow though.
I like Black Widow, but I'm like this like whole
we're burnt out of all of the Marvel characters.
That's what I'm saying. These characters that we've seen already, it's like, all right,
outside of this new Thor that we've kind of gotten, I kind of want like maybe 1 or 2 more of those.
That Guardians Thor.
Yes.
Let me get that. Let me get that.
All of that.
And then
all of that. With Drax too. All of that. 100%. Master the art of remaining perfectly still.
That's supposed to be the next phase. Like I think he
signed back on. He's one of the few people that did sign.
But they're also going to a female Thor.
Back on.
So he'll be in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Oh. I did not know
that. From then on, I don't know what his character is going to be.
But again, let's get to the next get to the next phase where it's like, give me New Mutants. Give me what, now that Marvel has access in-house to Fantastic Four and X-Men, let me get that.
I definitely want Fantastic Four because it's some of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe, and they've been just done so dirty.
Trash. Give me all of that because you know they're gonna do something with Silver Surfer that's actually gonna be dope. Give me all. Let's get Doctor Strange is probably gonna be
Galactus.
Give me all of that. Give me.
And you gotta do Galactus right though. Is Galactus an endgame type of? Is he an endgame type of?
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Or
absolutely.
Is he paired with somebody else?
No, Galactus is Galactus is a world eater.
You are correct, but I say that because they're separating the Marvel universe into this Phase 4. They got this space. They got the space people who handle the space shit. They got the Earth people that handle the Earth stuff.
Right.
Galactus is definitely a universal threat.
Yeah.
So how do those two? Who becomes the bigger bad at that point?
He becomes the bigger bad in as a whole thing because it's easy to tie that in with it. Where Galactus' first interaction will be like with the Guardians, right? Because they're out there. Guardians and Thor, they're out there. And then maybe Silver Surfer, and then the Fantastic Four get involved, and then he's coming to Earth, and then you get the other character, you get Spider-Man involved, you get Doctor Strange involved, who's probably the new leader type figure of whatever the new Avengers type squad is kind of going forward. That's like his role.
Who are the stepping stones, I guess, of that, and in the movies that have all of them together, not solo movies. The Fantastic Four, you got your obvious big bad in that movie.
Yeah, it's man, I don't know because Avengers is so many characters have been in Avenger at some point in time. Like the comics of Wolverine's been in the Avengers, like all the like Defenders and Luke Cage and all these characters have been in the Avengers at some point. So it's just like it's limitless.
So then let me ask you this: who would you like to be your Ultron for the first part of this next phase? Who is your Ultron of this phase? Because he's the first big bad.
I don't even know.
Who would you suspect with the Eternals? Because I don't know too much about the Eternals personally.
Me neither. I really don't. I couldn't even say. I couldn't even venture a guess. I don't. And that's the problem. And that's what you have to develop going forward. But you have all these other individual movies where they'll probably have an opportunity to grow that.
How does even Blade fit into this?
Hey, Blade is Blade, baby.
I'm with it, though. I need it. I'm just curious as to...
Blade is Blade, bro.
I'm just curious as to where Blade is going to fit in the battle versus Galactus.
Hey, because it's coming to Earth.
I'm anxious and I'm curious and I'm excited.
Once you have a character like Galactus that's threatening the whole planet, you can literally put anybody in at that point. Like, yo, bro, just come join this fight because if not, Earth is done. So, like, that speaks to everybody. Like, you don't even need a reason at that point.
Time out. Are they incorporating? So I know they did the Spider-Man multiverse theory-ish type deal. Are they incorporating the multiverse?
Best Spider-Man movie, by the way.
Correct. Best Spider-Man movie of all time. Nicolas Cage's top 3 role for Nicolas Cage of all time.
That is facts. Super facts.
Oh, man. I forgot where I was even going. But anyways, I don't want to stay too long on that.
You were asking about the Spider-Verse, the multiverse.
Oh, yeah. Is there going to be a multiverse aspect in this Marvel universe?
Good question. I think that's too much. I think if they did, because they already have too many new characters, directions that they're trying to go with, especially now acquiring.
Because I'm thinking like, how do you bring the X-Men into this?
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
There was a slight Easter egg that was dropped, and it just popped into my mind. It was either yesterday or the day before yesterday, but they just selected a director, and I forgot her name, but she's supposed to be directing a movie that has spiders involved. Like when I say it's super vague, it's super vague. But apparently, old girl from the Spider-Man movie, from the Spider-Verse movie, it's supposedly about her or a movie dealing with her. Now I don't know if it's animated or if it's live action. But if it's animated, then it's probably going to be connected to the Spider-Verse movie.
Spider-Verse.
If it's live action, then it could be connected to Phase 4 unless it's its own property with Sony.
Do they have?
I don't know.
Do they have any unannounced titles, Marvel movies in the phase? Like when they announced this upcoming,
they put everything on the. They put everything on the table.
Yeah, I think I'll look up just to make sure, but I think they put everything out.
Yeah, they did. Pretty sure.
Like even with like
all right, so phase
big
4.
like big movies that are combined. Like, are those titles on there too? Like, do those?
I think everything's out there.
Oh wow!
Because you know we ain't knows Avengers Endgame until fucking 2 years before.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so apparently Phase 4 is set to be released between 2020 and 2022, but obviously that could change because of
pushback.
Because of COVID. But the films themselves are in order. Black Widow. Actually, no, they've already adjusted on the movie date. So Black Widow, November 6th of this year. The Eternals, February 12th of 21. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, May 7th of 21.
Mm-hmm.
They do have an untitled Spider-Man sequel.
Obviously.
That's December 17th of 21. The Thor, Love and Thunder is February 11th, 22. And Doctor Strange and the Multiverse is March 25th.
It literally says Doctor Strange and the Multiverse. So never mind. There's my answer.
Okay.
Well, there is my answer. But to that I say,
fire. Doctor Strange.
To that I say, what? So then Phase 5 was what came after.
Yeah, I think like Eternals, Blade.
So
that was just the movie. So you also got to remember that Disney Plus is doing the different shows, with Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Blade is Phase 5
and WandaVision. I think unofficially it's. I think they announced those movies, but they didn't put them in a phase.
Okay.
As originally announced, Marvel Phase 5 will start February of 2022, and as of right now, it's going up until 2023. And it's at least 8 movies. So that's
because that's why I was like, because that's why I asked
Black
about
Panther
these.
would be a part of that.
Yep.
I think the Guardian movie would be a part of that.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's what I'm saying. There's no Avengers movie here.
So Phase 5 is Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, Ant-Man 3, Blade, Fantastic Four, and Guardians Volume 3.
Fantastic Four.
So I guess So
it's gonna be another decade.
Yeah, and they need to put Storm in Black Panther too.
So is that why? So are they gonna be Avengers titles between these? Is my question.
I don't think so.
I know.
I don't even think they revisit that maybe at all as a standalone movie. I don't think they revisit that.
My 2 cents is I think that as new characters get introduced, they can then follow the comic of the new Avengers.
Right.
And like that would probably be the movie title. But so until we get more new characters and
it'll be a while.
Characters die off, I don't think there'll be. Now I'm not saying
given that the end of
movies, but no Avenger movies.
Right.
I get it now. So we're basically back in world building mode.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. So it'll be another 10 years before we even
got you. Before we
cross that bridge.
Gonna see a hint of Galactus.
You'll probably get conversation about that in Fantastic Four movie. But the main villain in the new Fantastic Four, I can't imagine wouldn't be Dr. Doom.
Yeah, it gotta be Dr. Doom.
Right. Cool. So with that said, next up, let's get into. We got some game delays as usual, as to be expected, given the circumstance of the world, but. Maybe not so much expected is the biggest one. It's just the delay of Halo Infinite, which hurts my heart a lot. Halo Infinite is getting delayed to next year. Now, initially, the expectation was it'll probably get pushed to early next year, probably March, because that's kind of a popular time to release a game, especially a big title like that. in the early part of the year. Some people are even saying it might get pushed back to next year, like fall, winter of next year altogether. I'm like, I can't imagine they would push it back that far. Now, what I want to get into about this Halo Infinite delay, because Phil Spencer, again, shout out to him for, the kind of head of Microsoft, the Xbox division, whatever his actual title is. He's great. He's very transparent. He's very open about things, and I respect that because he's kind of like the main figurehead for companies in the gaming industry. Nintendo doesn't really have one anymore because Reggie, Nintendo of America, he left. He retired and now he's doing stuff with GameStop. Sony doesn't have anything for that.
With GameStop.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So Phil Spencer is like the guy that's like that people know who he is and see him, right? So it's been a lot of talk. A lot of the delay of the game had a lot to do with COVID stuff and development issues and things like that. But he was very open in mentioning the fact that it wasn't strictly COVID that was the reason for the delay, which I respect that too, because he didn't get into major detail, but without having to get into major detail, he's basically saying that in some form, somebody dropped the ball on development of this game. Yeah. So, which again, hurts my heart because I wanted that for this year. And I have a couple of feelings about how I feel things will go for that game and how it'll affect the Series X release. And spoiler alert for the rest of this episode, Series S release. I think this could go a couple of ways. Now, my initial reaction to this is, this happens and people are quick to always jump on let's jump on kick Microsoft bandwagon, right? Mm-hmm. Let's kick the Xbox bandwagon while they're down. How many times has Nintendo and all these other companies delayed? Nintendo is good for this. Nintendo is probably the most famous for this, delaying a Zelda game 6 months, 8 months, a whole year. Right. And nobody bats an eye because the premise is we need to delay this game because it's not ready, it's not done, and we need to make it right. And nobody bats an eye because Nintendo, when they drop a game, it's a masterpiece. Zelda, Breath of the Wild, masterpiece. Super Mario Odyssey, masterpiece. They don't drop games for them to be trash. Luigi's Mansion 3, great ass game. I could keep going. Okay, I could do a whole episode about Nintendo. But to me, I sign up for the same. Let's not take that away from Microsoft. Let's be on the page of, okay, this game is delayed for a reason other than COVID, right? This game is delayed because something didn't work properly and it needed to be fixed. They can't release Halo Infinite and one, have it be broken, and two, have it be like, oh, it's okay, it's a good game, it's another Halo game. No, this game needs to be a masterpiece. This game needs to be Halo 2, okay? Mm-hmm. This game needs to be epic. And anything less of that, and I think Microsoft is aware of that, so I think anything less than that would have been, not okay. So I think whoever, again, 343 hasn't had the best track record after taking over for Bungie of the Halo series. Yeah. But
speaking of them, they've been doing outstanding over there.
Bungie's killing. But I think that let's make sure this game is good. Let's make sure this game is a 9, 10, and let's make sure it's Halo.
You absolutely
This is what you have to do, because granted, would it have been great for this game to come out this year and help sell consoles? Yes. But as Phil Spencer has been very vocal about months ago, the Xbox Series X release will go on without Halo Infinite if it has to.
Just fine.
And
I ain't worried about it.
I am 100% on board with that because let's be honest, and I've said this plenty of times. The next generation of Xbox is not about consoles. It's not about moving boxes. It's about infrastructure and streaming and cloud gaming.
Yeah.
It's not about boxes, because Microsoft could give a shit less. If you buy a Series X or Series S, are they going to be happy about that? Absolutely. They want you
100%.
to, but that's like icing on the cake, because they really just, again, and I'm going to keep pounding this home, and I'm going to die on this hill. Microsoft just wants you in the infrastructure of Game Pass. As long as you have Game Pass, Microsoft don't give a shit what system you have, what you're playing it on. They don't give a shit.
You're going to pay for consoles, not even knowing it.
They don't, exactly. Come get this.
You're going to pay for them consoles.
Come get this Game Pass Ultimate. We don't care what controller you're using. Play it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, PC, your Xbox One, your Xbox One X, your Xbox Series S, Series X, whatever. We don't care as long as you got Game Pass. And that's, to me, that's the future of what Microsoft has for next generation. Sony has a different direction. Sony needs you to buy a box. That's it.
And that's the thing. Sony keeps backtracking. They keep backpedaling because they're realizing what they're doing isn't necessarily consumer friendly. Xbox or Microsoft does this thing, and they're left with, because after they were like, oh shit, these guys got 2 consoles. Sony backdoored and was like, yo, we got one too. We do got one too.
Right.
And now they're trying to invest a little bit more in the PlayStation now. And now before it was if you bought a PlayStation 5 game that was an exclusive, it wasn't going to be able to be played on Sony. And now they're trying to make it to where some titles are able to do that. But the ones that are truly exclusive, you're not going to have that ability to do so.
Right.
While Xbox doesn't plan on releasing any of those types of games until 2022.
Yeah, correct. And again, I think this, honestly, in the long run, I think this helps the console in the long run. Because if you tell me Halo's not till next year, and early part of next year, once the first wave, we get through the first wave of PS5 and Series X, and then we get to next year, we get to the spring next year, and Microsoft is able to go, okay, here's Halo Infinite, and it's a 9 out of 10. Or it's a masterpiece, and it's a 10 across the board. How much extra revenue do they see now because they get a second wave of people to go, yo, I need to go get an Xbox because Halo is fire. Halo is Halo 2, and I fucked with Halo 2 heavy, and that was maybe the best Halo game ever. And this is that again. Yeah, let me go ahead and get that. Because this is that and better. And that'll probably come just at the right time. Where
in the right time
where all things will start, because how much time will have passed? Because I don't think, again, we finally got a confirmation that Call of Duty, it's Black Ops Cold War. Like, we didn't already know that. Thanks Doritos for that. but they finally confirmed that, as if we didn't already know that's what the title was. I don't think that game is going to be what Modern Warfare has been doing this past year.
But that's the thing. And that's where Call of Duty got smart, because now it's almost like you're buying into them as a service by buying a new game, because they're not changing this game.
Right.
They're literally taking the game that you already have, blowing the fucking map up with a nuke, and all of a sudden the maps change.
Yeah,
especially just with the Warzone portion, at least I'm referring to, because this Warzone is literally going to become Black Ops Warzone.
That's true. That's a good point. I think they keep leaning into that.
And this is Treyarch and Infinity Ward. This is their first tandem combination since back when Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 was rolling out. So this is them working together on, finally.
Right.
They're not splitting up this time.
Right.
They're working together on this game, basically taking the game that they already have, and Treyarch, which arguably can be better than Infinity Ward.
Sometimes. Unless Infinity War is doing a Modern Warfare game, which clearly that's their bread and butter.
Correct. So they're taking Treyarch, and Treyarch's like, hey, you're good at them Black Ops games. Can you make one similar to Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2? You good?
Right.
We need you over here because we want to turn this Modern Warfare into a service. It's Battle Royale. Because that's literally what it is. That's what it feels like.
It is.
This reveal on the 26th.
And
it's like Fortnite because you got to go. It's a live event. You go into the game at this certain time, and this is going to happen. And now Warzone is going to have the Black Ops marketing all over it.
And
you rolling into the Black Ops.
I'm honestly not even mad at that because Modern Warfare has been good. It just has been. There's no dispute on that, I think. Especially from us being
so critical of it.
Call of Duty critics. Heavy.
Hard body.
Because the last Call of Duty, to my knowledge, now I played a little bit of World War II because Dre bought it and we played it. But before that, I hadn't touched a Call of Duty game since I think Black Ops 2. I'm not mistaken. I ain't touched none of them. I didn't touch Ghost.
Modern Warfare 3 was the time I stopped. Ghost. That was my last one.
I played a little bit of Modern Warfare 3 and I was like, I'm not playing this anymore. And I played that. Ghosts. Advanced Warfare, whatever war they tried to copy Titanfall. I didn't play none of that shit. None. I played a little bit of World War II. I was like, that's all right. I played it for a little bit and I stopped playing it. And then Modern Warfare, completely. This was Infinity War, whoever. Activision. I will say as a whole, this was like their last ditch effort, in my opinion, to make Call of Duty remain relevant because people were like, this shit's been trash. Like nobody was really fucking with it like that. It was like, this has kind of been trash. Like, and then Modern Warfare dropped and was like, yo, I remember we watched it. We saw the trailers. We was watching. I was like, we were all like, yo, this
look kind of hot.
This might be okay. And then I played it. I know Dre, and we played. I was like, "Yo,
well, in the trailer,
it was Call of Duty again." Like
ground. That's literally what it said. Boots on ground.
Like, yo,
I can do that.
This is Call of Duty again, and they hit it. They hit a home run with this, and I'm not even mad at that. And that's what Halo Infinite needs to be. To come full circle. That's exactly what this is because Halo has had that same track. Because after Halo Reach. Halo 4 was okay. Halo 5, most people were like, the campaign's trash. Multiplayer's still good. A lot of people come for both. If you coming for Halo, you're coming for both.
Yeah.
There's some people that don't even come for Halo for multiplayer that I've learned. They came for campaign, which is why so many people were pissed off about Halo 5 because campaign was trash. And once you stray too far away from Master Chief, most people are like, the lore is you're losing me on the lore a little bit, right? Yeah. So this is it. This is Halo Infinite. We're leaning into Master Chief. We need the campaign to be fire, and we need the multiplayer to be fire. Part of me believes that this delay has something to do with the Battle Royale mode. Call me crazy, and I think that had they released this game, they would have eventually released a service for Battle Royale into the game eventually. But I think the delay is kind of like, okay, let's make sure we launch it with the game.
Battle Royale.
Correct.
Because that shit's going to log even more bread.
Because if you launch a
Halo
game with a Battle Royale mode,
that's good.
Are you kidding me? And I've told people this already. Halo, the original Halo Combat Evolved revolutionized and broke the mold for what we know now. It opened the door for games like Call of Duty to be what they are now for first-person shooters. That dual analog twin stick, vehicles. Halo was way ahead of its time and delivered. Halo was the revolutionary for first-person shooters. Halo 2 was a revolutionary for online gameplay shooters.
Period.
Like, That changed the game for online multiplayer, period. Forget about shooters. Online was in its early stages at that time, and they fucking Microsoft and Bungie
broadband
blew the door wide open with the multiplayer in Halo 2. Like, that changed the game. So everything we know now is everything we do now in gaming online and then shooters. Thank Halo for that. I don't care what nobody says. All the fanboys in the world can argue for. There's nothing Sony does that's as important to Sony as Halo is to Microsoft and to gaming as in general where we are now
as an entire
for shooters and for multiplayer, because Sony doesn't do multiplayer shit. You want first party hardcore, you want first party AAA single player title adventures, Sony got you. But multiplayer, they don't have anything for
we got that. We got Gears. We got the
Halo, Forza. We got you. Microsoft will hold you down for multiplayer. That's what they specialize in. Sony specializes in AAA first-party single-player shit.
Play a game in your room by yourself.
Correct. They got you all day, every day. And I'm not even going to argue that point. They do that excellent. Very well. Whether it be Last of Us, whether it be God of War, whether it be Ghost of Tsushima now, whether it be Uncharted, which is kind of dead now, obviously, but they got you. You want single player, AAA, blockbuster,
Spider-Man.
movie type shit, Spider-Man, they got you covered. And let's roll right into the next topic, because speaking of Sony and speaking of delays, since we were talking about that, Deathloop got delayed. I'm smiling, not because I'm happy that a game got delayed, because I'm never happy about that. But for the people that are ragging on Microsoft and Halo for delaying the game, and I think Deathloop is a timed exclusive.
I was about to ask that. That's why I was making.
I know it's exclusive. It was exclusive to the launch of the PS5.
So I was looking at Bethesda. I was like, Bethesda, you real funky right now.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Yeah, and I don't know how long that delay was to be. But I know, and trust me, I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of gaming podcasts, a lot of shit like that, a lot of YouTube shit. A lot of people, their title that they were most excited about for that PS5 launch was Deathloop. Because it was the one thing that they were definitely getting. Because quite frankly, let's be honest, none of the other games have a definitive, this is a launch title game. Because not even Miles Morales, which is kind of the next man up, for what people are wanting for that PS5, is confirmed as a launch title. It's not. So that could very well fall under the axe of not getting released this year. So Sony is also quickly losing a reason to buy their PS5, and in my opinion is way more important for them than it is for Microsoft, because Sony needs you to buy a PS5. Microsoft doesn't need you to buy an Xbox Series X or Series X. They don't give a shit about that. Sony needs you to
buy if you want one.
Sony needs you to buy a PS5 for them to be successful. They have to hit that shit out of the park. So them losing Deathloop this launch window is huge.
For them to lose it and then potentially fall into the window of
not being exclusive anymore. Correct. That's a huge thing for them. Deathloop looked dope. And again,
mess around and be a launch title
for Series X. What an L that would be! Oh my! I would be so pissed. I would be so pissed.
Oh man! Especially if it was something to do with the framework of the console itself.
Oh my god! It would be so pissed.
The biggest
but
L.
Deathloop looked dope. And again, Look, play what you want to play, man. I keep telling people, and this
way you play it.
I'm not on the bandwagon of ripping down people for what they play. That's never been my thing.
Mm-mm.
I make fun of Sony. I make fun of because it's fun to do. Because I'm a Microsoft gamer and I'm a Nintendo fanboy. So it's real easy for me to rag on Sony. And it's easy for me to rag on Sony because I've owned every Sony console. Through PlayStation 1 through PS4. I don't have a PS4 now, but I had one. So
two of them things.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Collect dust.
Right. So I was like, this shit been sitting here for 5 months and I haven't played any games.
All I had was single player games.
And once you're done with that, that's it.
That's it.
You're waiting for a game to come out in 6 months. and it's not my third party console.
Yeah,
so
that's not my third party console. Correct.
So it is what, and they lost MLB The Show as an exclusive. So
even more the reason not to buy one now.
That's what I'm saying. And,
Last of Us, the only reason I want one.
And our man Devin, that was a free dev, by the way, and that was the main reason.
Free dev.
That was the main reason for him to get us.
That needs to be in the parentheses on the description. Free dev.
He always bought a PlayStation because MLB The Show. That's his joint. And that's gonna be on Xbox soon, and probably
everybody.
Switch. Who knows?
We need to get that connected franchise or Dynasty on there. That shit would be lit.
Hey, give me all day, every day. MLB The Show is arguably the best game in sports. If we're being honest,
because people losing
2K,
that every
Madden,
year.
Because it was between
not
FIFA
like
and the show
every year. It was, but now FIFA, EA, and they damn carbon copies.
They
carbon copies. Is that time to roll into the next subject? Is it that time?
Look, I'm gonna roll into the next subject, but I ain't gotten to Madden yet. I'm not getting there yet. I'm not doing that. No, you know what? But since you mentioned that, I'm gonna roll to the next topic because we need to get to that. I'm gonna roll to the next topic, and we're gonna talk about some of the stuff with the Series S. I told you it was coming. So we've got leaks.
I'm about to say those leaks.
We've got controller leaks.
Time out. Pause.
So yes. So we've been saying, we knew this Series S was going to happen. It's not going to, whatever's going to be called, right? So there's the leaks where the controller was purchased somewhere at some retail store, and it says Series S on the box. The series can be used with Series X or Series S or Windows 10, right? There's box images where it says do not open until November 6th.
Did you see the images of the Xbox on Twitter that they started posting? I think IGN might have posted them, like actual images or setups. It was actually posted in the Sports Gaming Anonymous group. Check that out, by the way, if you haven't, on Facebook.
Cheap plug.
Also subscribe, boop, boop, buttons, and press those. Boop, cheap boop. Plug. But it looks wonderful. It's big, black, pause.
Oh, yeah. And like these boxes, I've seen these boxes because I've worked for game companies in the past. Worked for EB Games before it got bought out by GameStop in America. In other countries, even in Canada, they still have EB Games, but whatever.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do. So yeah, that was the shit. So I've seen these boxes. Even working at Best Buy, I've seen these boxes. These are official. Everything about these images are official. Like, this do not open until this date means that's a hard dated product. This is usually stuff that you usually don't see this far in advance, but who knows where this is and who has access to what. But that's usually official stuff, and that's a hard date, and that's usually when the official release date of that product is. When that sticker that's on those boxes says do not open until this date. And for that box, it said November 6th. Could that be the release date of the Series X? Probably. It's been confirmed. Right. It's been confirmed that it will release in November. So it's either going to be November 6th or it's going to be whenever the release date of Cyberpunk is. Legitimately, which I think is the 17th or the 6th. Dre, correct me on that. Fact check me on that. But
that sounds about right.
It'll either be November 6th or it'll be the official release, or it'll be the day Cyberpunk comes out. That's when you should expect to see.
And Cyberpunk is supposed to release November 19th.
November 19th. So we could get it on the 19th, or we can get it on the 6th. My guess is that it'll probably be early in the month. Maybe they want to get ahead of things a little bit, get a little bit away from Black Friday. Get a little bit ahead of that, so by the time you get there, it'll help increase sales a little bit.
It's only being released for PS4, Windows, and Xbox One. It's not coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X until 2021.
Interesting. Why did I forget about that? I think maybe smart delivery. I feel like smart delivery made me kind of like forget about that. Yeah, that's true. That is a current gen title. I did forget about that.
No, but I thought that's why they were delaying it, because they wanted it to release it with next gen.
I think they wanted to release alongside next gen because obviously you'll be able to play it.
But to have it, maybe. I just thought something different.
Yeah, but which also leads me to believe that it probably might be in November 6th.
I think it might be early November.
November 6th is fine.
I don't think.
But this next, whatever we get for this August event that Phil Spencer,
they're holding out because they're
hardware
digital. Since they're digital,
if it's hardware,
I feel like he's holding out because I think he's still holding out for PlayStation to drop a price.
But if it's hardware, I think we can go ahead and get an official confirmation of the second console.
We're gonna get that, and
we can get confirmation of the second console, and then they go back off.
And any other hardware that they potentially might want to debut.
Yeah, which I don't know what that would be, but again,
who knows? At this point,
who knows?
Because Sony had a little event. They showed their hardware, and they mentioned shit that we had no idea was even in the works.
True.
Whole camera that they even talk about.
And nobody wants that shit. Nobody's gonna buy that. But yeah, so that's all the Series S potential stuff or whatever the case may be. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. This Madden 21. So if you've been,
I don't have a mixer yet.
We're getting there. We're getting there. It's on the purchase list. Don't worry about it. We're taking donations for everything. So okay. So if you've been following along for whatever Flash and Dash, you've been following along with the SGA podcast. At some point in time, you've heard me, Flash, aka aka whatever. You've heard me rant about Madden somewhere, somehow. Madden 21, as of this recording, has been available for download through EA Play, not EA Access anymore, through EA Play for the trial version, which is about 10 hours. Usually you get that 10-hour trial.
It's the game.
But it's the full game. It's not a demo. This is the full game. If you've never had access to an EA trial game, you get the full game for X amount of hours, and then whatever progress when you buy the game, it'll just transfer right over like normal. It's not a demo. You get the full game. Now, I've only played the yard. I haven't touched anything else because I had no interest in touching anything else because first things first. This is a copy and pasted game. So I have no reason to touch anything else. This is Madden 20. This is not even Madden 20.5. This is Madden 20.1.
Barely anything.
This is literally Madden 20 with updated rosters. 100%. You're getting nothing else, okay?
So pause. Just before you even before you even get that far, it probably will fuel the fire. So have you played UFC 3? Have you played the first UFC?
No. 3?
I know, but I said, have you played 3? Yeah. Have you played 3?
I downloaded the trial for 4 though, but no, I haven't played.
Okay, so the jump from 3 to 4, gameplay wise, you felt the changes, right? The gameplay felt smoother. It actually felt like Fight Night. It really felt like you're playing Fight Night with 4. But UFC. Like when you walk into people, you got the grappling motions. It's not you press a button, I'm going to kind of just grab you, and then you're locked into this motion until you press this button. You back out of it. You literally have to walk backwards to get out of the clinch. You don't press a button to get out of the clinch. Like the movements are fluid. It feels like the physics is there.
Okay.
So that jump from UFC 3 to UFC 4, this being the same company, what is going on? Why?
Bro.
It's the same game, Ree.
If this isn't...
It's the same game.
And if this isn't the biggest slap in the fucking face for people that buy this game religiously, blindly. Now, some people buy it every year, not blindly. They understand like, I'll give Dre credit. He understands the bullshit of the game, but he's going to buy it. He buys it because it's NFL. And a lot of us buy it because it's NFL. A lot of us buy it because we play with people that play a franchise or whatever the case may, connected franchise, whatever the case may be. We buy it for that reason. We don't buy it because, like, oh, we genuinely, like, oh man, I think this shit's the best thing on earth. No, you just buy it for circumstance reasons. This, not only is it the same game, but they're not even hiding this anymore. Not only are they giving you the same game and ain't changed shit about it, they put the yard in the game, right? Now, this is the game mode, 6-on-6, backyard style rules, gameplay, kind of over-the-top arcade style, even though Madden already plays arcade style.
Literally the same thing.
Don't tell me it's simulation football, because it is not. Don't bullshit me. As you've said, this is the smoke screen for the fact that they ain't changed not a damn thing of this game between last year and this year. They ain't done nothing with franchise. None of this shit with anything else has changed. They're pushing faces of the franchise that apparently has gotten worse, which I don't even know how that's possible.
I still haven't touched it.
I haven't, but I've watched people talk about it that have said that the game ain't shit, but they're like, face of the franchise is worse. And I don't even know how it's possible when you focused on it. And I don't understand. Now, the yard, now don't get me wrong. For what the yard does, it's fun.
So guess what?
I've only played the single player, and apparently we've had different experiences because that shit is glitched out the wall.
So
if you're playing that shit by yourself,
is glitched. Yeah, single player is definitely glitched. Boy, I haven't had an issue playing multiplayer.
Fuck.
Yeah. Oh man, so I have not played the single player. I'm not here to play by myself. I'm here to play by myself against somebody.
But I need to get the skill points up, though. I need to get.
I ain't worried about them. I'm gonna get them. Because people be bad, bro. And your character's not terrible. As long as you have the prototype there, you plug and play. People gonna make the mistakes in this 6v6. But hear me out, which is the crazy thing. Look how little Madden had to change, if at all. Madden had to change about the fundamentals of their simulation football game to make this arcade 6v6 yard game.
They actually didn't have to.
They didn't change a damn thing. They just made you allow you to fucking throw more than one pass behind the line of scrimmage.
That's it. They added.
That's it.
They really did. They just right. It's all they had to do.
And you can do it behind the back juke.
That's it. So
you can do it behind the back juke.
So when you do a juke, he puts the ball behind his back, and when you do a spin, he puts it between his legs. That's all. That's really structurally. And they have like one-time shit that I haven't done yet. Where like if you hold a certain button, right trigger, whatever, like when you throw it to one person, they can catch it and immediately throw it to like somebody else, which is kind of dope, I guess, if you figure out how to master that. But again, structurally, other than shit like that, it's just Madden, and which is why I hyped it at first because the customization was dope, and I started playing it, and I was like, yo, man, this kind of feels oddly like empty in a way. Like, especially playing by yourself, you're just like, oh, this is kind of cool, and you're like, something's missing from this. It's just Madden with like, I'll put it between my legs, put it behind your back, lateral, and then throw again. Like,
and laterals give you more points, and
just adding to your points. I'm like, this is the same. This is not NFL. And before this mode had dropped, my thing was like, oh, if this is just an extension like NFL Street type shit, that would be dope. That's not what this is. That's not what this is at all. This is just Madden with like the rules turned off. That's all this is. And he put it between his legs or behind his back. This is still just Madden. the core gameplay is still
the same.
Gameplay
is still the same. Literally, there's a way to cheese the system off of it based off of the animations and the locked animations that you get in.
This is
literally Adam Thielen gonna be lining up against Matthew Stafford based off of the position choices. And guess where I'm going every damn time? Every time. Don't even matter if he's in the zone or not. I'm going there every time.
This is not a $60 game, right? This
is the only reason I'm getting it is because I can go half.
Correct. And
that's the only reason I'm getting it. Is because I can go half with somebody I game shit with.
Right. And I know Dre asked me earlier, like, so when we buying it, and I'm just like,
and I'm still like,
in my head, I'm like, I guess it's worth $30. Like,
yeah, that's how you
for the yard, for what the yard could be, for the yard, and that's for the squad.
The yard and potentially connected franchise.
Potentially, because we're not getting anything different in franchise. They haven't done anything.
No.
They just copied and they went to the computer and they right-clicked and they copied the same file that they had from last year and they put it in this.
Stacy, grab that.
In EA, yo, this is so infuriating. It's not even funny anymore. Like. And granted, if they had and the worst part about all of this is because they could have come out and said, "Hey, listen, due to the state of the world and due to COVID and the virus and we just haven't hit where we want to hit in our usual development cycle, and you're going to get largely the same game. Yes, we're going to update the rosters and all that stuff. You're pretty much going to get the same game. We're going to add this new mode in, and it'll be $40 because you're not really getting a new game." Most people will be like, you know what? All right. I can respect that if you leaned into it. And granted, you know, by the time March hit, was this game mostly done? Probably. Because they start this shit as soon as the new game drops. Because that's the development cycle.
They have to. Yeah, you have to. That's how,
they are like an 8-month development cycle, if that. So was this game mostly done by the time the virus hit? Probably. But I'm sure there was a lot of shit still by the time March, April rolled around. That was
the yard wasn't in the game in April.
No, hell no. And let me tell you what, I'm glad you mentioned that.
The yard was
I'm glad you mentioned that. Because the fact that the yard wasn't in there by the time we rolled around to April, and the yard is incomplete as it stands. It works for online, which is great. The offline, the yard does not. It works half the time. Okay, and that is way unacceptable. Okay, so and I've tweeted about this at SGA Flash. Go check that out. The yard is largely unplayable in single player
yourself.
Because you can load it up and you literally are like, yo, I don't know if it's going to load. I even ran into a glitch before I even got to a match. I ran into a glitch where you selected if I selected the halfback outside linebacker position, it populated my team with no quarterback. And then it went to the next screen and then it would run into an error message because my team wasn't full. It would error message and then drop me back to the menu.
So
I kept and to test it, I kept picking halfback to see if it would do it again, and it kept doing it. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
And that's crazy because these are bugs that somebody that worked at EA before, that works in game development, as you do, you literally go around and you press all of these buttons. All of them.
The yard had no beta time frame. It had no beta.
They could not put it out into testing. There's no way, shape, or form. That testing happens in October.
This
and
game,
November.
And they had a closed beta for Madden at that, which was what, a weekend?
Yeah,
it was a weekend, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did the full Madden, and again, the yard wasn't in there when they had this closed beta time, right? Madden itself didn't need a closed beta because it was the same fucking game. The yard needed a beta, an open beta at that.
Correct.
But again, the yard wasn't in there when they had this beta out. The yard got put into this game for one of two reasons. For two reasons, not one of two, but for two reasons. One of which is they needed another mode because they knew they weren't changing anything else in the game, and franchise players were going to be pissed, and they saw how pissed off franchise players were when they started releasing information for the game. They needed another mode to get money out of people. And even though
off of franchise,
and even though MUT is still going to be their prime money-driven mode, they'll get cosmetic money from the yard, 100%. Because aside from it's the same really core game that you're playing, how your character looks is literally half the other part of the game mode. Because I can get this dope visor with the eyes and dope like arm sleeves and helmet, like different jerseys. Like literally, that's half the mode. Because
and you're gonna be
and it's the same thing with 2K in the park. Because don't come in my squad with a brown shirt on.
You're not getting on the circle.
You're not getting on squad. You are not. You're not getting.
People leaving. You're not getting picked up.
Not getting picked up.
Unless you just look like you brown shirt and you a damn legend and people know you just bullshit.
Right.
Shirt on.
Right.
We'll play with you.
It's about cosmetics.
Correct.
Right? So that's one thing. And the second reason that this mode got thrown into Madden so late is after that information dropped that 2K was going to be allowed to make a non-simulated football game
with the NFL players.
With the NFL license, EA was like, shit, we need a mode whatever they're going to do, we need a mode that's going to be ahead of that. Right. Because I can guarantee you this, whatever that mode's going to be for 2K, they must have looked at the yard at this point and like, that's the best you can do.
They laughing.
Core mode and just transfer it over. Whatever 2K is going to do, game wise, is going to be way better than. It's probably going to be better than Madden at its core. Fuck the yard. It's just going to be better than Madden altogether. I don't care what nobody says.
Because that gray area between simulation and arcade is so. I feel like it's not that big of a gap.
Tell them it isn't because that's a very, like you said, it's a very gray area. So they're like, okay, we can't make a simulation game, but we can get close enough to it.
We get pretty close. We can make them look a little cartoony. Y'all can.
Right, we can sell this as an arcade mode. But bet your ass is gonna be close to.
We gonna do just like y'all did.
It's gonna be as close to simulation as possible. It'll be a simulation game, but it'll be like, oh, we can do shit where the guy throws it behind his back too.
Yeah.
But bet your ass, most of the rest of the mode is gonna play. It's going to play simulation as fuck. I can almost guarantee that. Right? Yeah. I'm like, yo, listen, fuck EA and all this bull because they're destroying these franchises. They destroyed Madden a long time ago. They destroyed NHL a few years ago, apparently. Because I haven't played it for a while. They're destroying FIFA right now. Yo, EA Sports is fucking up. Okay, like this is not even like this is, and the messed up part about it is this is what I always this is why competition is important. And I keep telling people that. And it's the reason why it's important to have Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo as entities in this space. Because there needs to be something for everybody. It needs to be competition. Microsoft and Sony one of them can't just go away one day. Because that'll monopolize the market somehow in a space. And I don't count Nintendo because Nintendo does what they do and they'll always exist in their space. Microsoft and Sony one of them can't just go away. Because that scope of core power user gamer will just fall under one company. It would just be bad. Like, it's kind of like for those that don't know, there was a point where Nintendo asked, because they saw what Sega was doing with the Sega CD and the 32X, Nintendo asked Sony to create an extension for them for their Super Nintendo. And that's what the PlayStation was. And then Nintendo was like, nah, you know what? Forget it. We're not gonna go that route anymore. And then Sony was like, well, we already made this thing. Well, let's just release it on our own. So right. This is a unwell-known fact of gaming. So to sum this up,
y'all wouldn't even be here without Nintendo. Get out my face.
Nintendo could have monopolized gaming 20 years ago. There wouldn't have been a Sony PlayStation. It would have been a Nintendo PlayStation add-on. Would we imagine the state of gaming right now if Nintendo had went ahead and be like, oh, yeah, let's go ahead and use that? There would have been no separate Sony PlayStation. Nintendo would have monopolized the market.
Nintendo potentially could have monopolized the market, but I still think Microsoft would have found a lane in that.
Yes, because this was
multiplayer gaming.
Because and that's something that Nintendo never leaned into, and still to this day is only still figuring out. Kind of.
Barely.
Because if you go on Nintendo Online, the only thing you can really play that's any worth a damn is Mario Kart 8 and Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah.
There ain't shit else that you could play that you could go on Nintendo like, yeah, I'm get on Nintendo Online. No. They never leaned into that until recently.
On fucking Nintendo, bro.
Right. So Microsoft would have figured out that space because that was their game from day one. Let's give you power specs, and then eventually let's give you multiplayer gaming. That was their thing. And now it's the long term was let's figure out how to give you streaming, cloud, service, technology, and gaming. And that's what they've figured out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, again, fuck EA and their bullshit. They're killing all our sports franchises that were excellent years ago. They're killing Madden. Well, they killed Madden. They're killing FIFA. They killed NHL.
Not pistachios.
Come on, son. You can't just okay, you gave us a good Star Wars game finally. And Apex Legends is lit. But Apex Legends is not even the top dog right now because Warzone came in and swooped up and stole part of the market share, which is why Fortnite is where it's at right now, and they're pandering for people to come back to the game. So they're
always gonna have somebody though.
They always facts. But look, I mean, it is what it is. I'll end up probably going half on the goddamn game because the yard is fun, and if the squad is like, hey, we're gonna do a connected franchise, I'll do a connected franchise. That's all. Yeah. That's the only fucking reason people buy Madden. Well, people with any damn brain buy Madden is because they got friends that they play with, and because if I didn't, there'd be no reason for me to buy Madden at all. I
got other games I could play. Got Wasteland 3 coming out.
Plenty of other games I could play, bro. You kidding me? And fucking a bullshit stealing everybody money head ass. Look, whatever. Anyway, that's that. So that's it, man. We ain't got nothing else for y'all.
Nope.
We appreciate y'all for joining us on the comeback season for Flash and Dash. We're going to be back on our usual schedule. Don't you worry. We know you've been wanting these episodes. You've been missing out on your gaming news. I've been having to slide it into the SGA podcast. Don't worry about it. Ain't no more of that. Flash and Dash is back.
Subscribe, follow. All those good things.
Go play Battletoads. It's on Game Pass. I mean, if you got a PlayStation, I'm sorry. You can't play it. Or unless you got a PlayStation and an Xbox, but you probably don't. So go play. If you got an Xbox and there's no reason for you to have an Xbox and not have Game Pass, Go play
Correct.
Battletoads because it's lit as all
And
hell.
it's free.
And it's free. And
I mean,
pre-install everything that's
pay
coming.
for it,
Tell me why.
so it's
Come on.
free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You pay for it, but it's free.
Install,
How many
ask
games you
later.
need? Come on, son. Let's
You
get
ain't even
this
gotta
bread.
play it. Fuck, install it. Look at it.
Let's install it. Just install it. Just have Game Pass.
Just goes.
And come check us out. Come check out the previous episode of the Flash and Dash podcast. Go check out the SGA podcast. Go check out Old School Gamers because we're out here. Re and
Like
C.
it.
We're out here. We're killing them out here. Old school games, retro games. Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all for joining us. Check y'all next week, next episode. Peace out. We're out of here.